We know you love horror stories, so today we bring you one that will definitely make you jump out of your seat. Antonio was a wax sculptor who would frequently spend long periods of time away from home. The previous year, his house was robbed many times, and since he had to leave again, Antonio asked his good friend Martin to spend a few days in his house. The first thing that caught Martin's attention was the size of the house and how cold it was. It was far away from the city's downtown, so that Antonio could have enough peace and quiet to do his work. Martin was impressed when he saw the big rooms where Antonio kept his finished pieces. But without a doubt, what impressed Martin the most was Antonio's workshop. Specifically, he noticed a figure covered with a white blanket, which seemed to be the sculpture of a man. All the other sculptures were exposed, so the covered one sparked his curiosity. However, since he didn't want to risk ruining his friend's work, he just left the covered sculpture alone. After walking around and familiarizing himself with what was going to be his house for a few days, Martin sat down to watch some TV. Tired, he went to bed shortly after. He fell asleep pretty quickly, but a noise at about 3 in the morning made him wake up abruptly. Still half asleep, he got up to see what was going on. Knowing about the house robberies his friend had suffered in the past, he thought that maybe burglars had gotten into the house again. The noises were coming from the workshop, so he quickly went to check it out. When he opened the door, he didn't see anybody, but he noticed something was different. The covered sculpture that had caught his attention was no longer there. He stopped to analyze for a moment if he actually saw it there or in a different place, and started to doubt. Scared, he went back to his room, trying to convince himself that the noise he heard came from the street or a neighbor. He didn't know the house perfectly well, so maybe he was missing some small detail. However, when he went back to the hallway, he found something completely unexpected. There it was, right in front of him, the sculpture covered in a blanket. How could it be? Who the heck put it there? He didn't remember seeing it when he went out of his room. Very scared, he grabbed the sculpture and took it back to the workshop. He locked the workshop door and scoured the entire house looking for anything strange. But everything was in its place and nothing seemed to be missing. He went back to bed feeling scared and perplexed. And after a while of thinking about what happened, he fell asleep. When he woke up, it was already morning. He headed to the workshop, and when he got to the door, he was petrified in shock. The door was open. Somebody had definitely been there. He slammed the door shut and headed to the kitchen where he had left his laptop. He wanted to contact Antonio and tell him about what was happening. However, something stopped him in the hallway. There it was, once again, the covered sculpture. Martin felt true horror after seeing that, and with whatever he was wearing, rushed out of the house. However, after being outside of the house for the entire day, he decided he had to go back to verify that everything was in order and let his friend Antonio know about what was happening. When he came back, he didn't find the covered sculpture anywhere. It was gone. Not sure if it was burglars or something more strange, Martin grabbed his computer and called Antonio. Through a video call, Martin told him all about what happened and also told him he was very scared. Antonio asked Martin to calm down, but also told him that he never covered his sculptures with blankets, that he always left them uncovered. And suddenly, Antonio stopped speaking. Martin saw in Antonio's panicked expression that something bad was going on. And suddenly, Antonio asked, "What's that behind you? There's a blanket!" Martin turned around and there it was again, the covered sculpture just a few meters from him. While Antonio kept calling and calling his friend, Martin armed himself with courage and uncovered the sculpture. In that instant, Antonio heard a deafening screech from the other side of his computer and the call was disconnected. Very scared, the artist returned to his house as fast as he could. When he arrived, he didn't find Martin anywhere. But the workshop still had the same sculpture covered with a white blanket. He uncovered the sculpture and was never able to forget what he saw. It was a wax sculpture of his friend with an expression of true horror, with its eyes widened out, and there were blood stains everywhere. if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like it, and if you want to see more Draw My Life videos, subscribe to our channel. See you in the next episode!